Hey guys, it's Emily. Thank you so much for stepping into my corner of the world today. In today's video, I am taking you through just a few of my favorite toddler and family recipes. Some of these foods were highlighted in my most recent full day of eating video, so I wanted to make sure that I shared how to make the foods too. So without further ado, let's get cooking. On the agenda today, we are going to be making some gluten-free, dairy-free waffles, some quinoa black bean bites, some meatballs, and then 2 different smoothie recipes. And to start off, we are going to be making the gluten-free waffles first. For this recipe, you will need 1 3/4 cups of oat flour, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a cup of milk, either non-dairy or regular milk, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of oil, and then 2 eggs. As you can tell from these clips here, I am just mixing together all of the dry ingredients first, and then I'm going to be making the almond milk. You can use either regular milk, or you can use probably coconut milk, or just an almond milk from the store, oat milk, pea milk, anything like that. But I am making my own almond milk, and really all I am doing is adding almond butter to my little blender, and then adding water, and then blending. And that's literally how you can make an almond milk that has no gums, no fillers, no sugar, anything. And it really is nice and foamy. Once I blended up all of my almond milk, I added that to a new bowl, and then I started adding in the rest of the wet ingredients. And those wet ingredients that you need are the milk, the vanilla, the apple cider vinegar, the oil, and the eggs. And for the sugar, I am using honey, so I did not add the sugar in with the dry ingredients. You can obviously use regular granulated sugar, but I do like to use the more natural sugar, the honey. And I am not using canola oil, I am instead doing coconut oil, and you cannot taste any kind of coconut flavor in the waffles whatsoever. Since I am using coconut oil, it does come as a solid, and I had to melt it down in order to become a liquid. So what I did is I just microwaved it for 30 seconds, turned that solid coconut oil into a liquid, and then added that into the rest of the wet ingredients. And it's probably best if your almond milk, whatever milk you're using, is somewhat room temperature, and same with the eggs, because if you do use coconut oil and add in that liquid coconut oil to the rest of the wet ingredients, if it's too cold, it will start to congeal the coconut oil. And then once you have all the wet ingredients mixed, all of the dry ingredients mixed, you're just going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, and then just whisk. And then you are ready to start actually cooking the waffles. You'll need to make sure that you spray the waffle iron with some type of cooking spray, and then just add the batter to the waffle iron. And then one side note is that these gluten-free waffles take a little bit longer to cook than any kind of normal waffles. So when the waffle iron says ready, they actually need to cook a little bit longer. Something to do with the oat flour. I think since it's more dense, it does take longer to cook. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, moving on to these quinoa and sweet potato black bean bites. I make these for my son. He loves them, and I prep them and then I freeze the leftovers, and it's just perfect to pull out. So for this recipe, you're going to need some cooked quinoa, which is 1 1/2 cups of cooked quinoa, 2 eggs, a 1/2 cup of sweet potato puree, 1/2 cup of black beans, some cilantro, cumin, and paprika and garlic powder, which I honestly do not use. My son prefers these to just be more plain. So by all means, add in the cilantro, cumin, paprika, and garlic powder, but you can also leave those out. They will just taste a little bit more bland. And then the other ingredients you need is salt and black pepper. And honestly, all you do is just combine all of the ingredients together. And then what you're gonna do is spray a muffin tin, or you can do cupcake liners, and then put the mixture into the tin and then bake for 15 to 20 minutes until the cups hold together, and then you're good to go. Next up, we are going to be making some delicious turkey meatballs in the slow cooker. So for this recipe, I definitely make it my own. I use this recipe as a base, and then I just kind of omit some ingredients and then kind of do a few little tweaks. But if you wanted to follow the recipe as follows, then it is a cup of breadcrumbs, half a cup of milk, a pound of ground beef, a half pound of ground pork, and a half pound of Italian sausage, some onion, some garlic, salt, black pepper, 2 eggs beaten, and then some freshly grated Parmesan and parsley. For me and my family, we do not do the ground pork or the ground sausage. Sometimes we will do ground beef, but I most of the time make these meatballs with turkey instead. And then I don't add in any onion or garlic or Parmesan. I don't really eat dairy right now. My son doesn't really eat much dairy, and my husband, believe it or not, does not like cheese. So as delicious as these would be with cheese, I highly recommend you put the cheese in, but I do not, just because of my family's dietary reasons. And then I don't do the parsley either. So this recipe is definitely probably boring compared to people who cook a lot more, but really, honestly, these meatballs are super delicious just with the bare bones of the recipe. So for us, we do the breadcrumbs, the Italian breadcrumbs, gluten-free Italian breadcrumbs, the milk, but I do almond milk, and then we do the ground turkey. And then we do the salt, the black pepper, and the eggs. And that's really it. And they still turn out super, super delicious. So what I do is I make the mixture and then use a cookie scoop to make the balls. And then they're all uniform. They're all the same size. And then I turn my broiler on high. I cook for about 6 minutes and then turn the meatballs. And then I will put them back in the oven for 4 to 6 minutes or so. And then I will add them to the slow cooker. I will put some cooking spray in the bottom of my slow cooker, add some sauce, and then add the meatballs, and then pour the rest of the sauce on top. And then I cook on low for like 6 to 8 hours, and oh my gosh, they are so good. They're so tender. They're not dry at all. They're super moist. I hate using the word moist, but they really are moist, you guys. Okay, now moving on to my tried and true, amazingly delicious, super filling, super healthy chocolate smoothie recipe. For this smoothie recipe, the base is this awesome New Zest probiotic chocolate protein powder. It is really expensive, unfortunately, but I only use a scoop of it a day, so it lasts me like a month and a half to 2 months, 1 tub, and it is so, so delicious. And the probiotics in it help my gut health so much. So this protein powder, I highly, highly recommend. So that is the base for the smoothie, that chocolate protein powder, just 1 scoop. And then I will do 2 spoonfuls of cocoa powder, a couple really big globs of peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of grass-fed collagen, a few strawberries. I usually do 3 to 5 strawberries, depending on the size, frozen strawberries. And then one secret key to making this smoothie as delicious as it can possibly be is a frozen banana. Not a half banana, a whole frozen banana. Trust me, you will not regret it. And then I will put in a beet, especially the Love Beets brand. They are organic, pre-cooked beets, so delicious. Trust me, they add so much natural sweetness, and bonus, it's a super nutritionally dense vegetable. And then I add in sweet potato or kabocha squash. Sometimes I flip-flop between the two. And then I add in some frozen cauliflower. And in the last part of this video, I'm going to show you how I prep my squash / sweet potato and cauliflower to make this smoothie, so don't miss out on that part of the video. And then I add some water, blend up my smoothie, and it is so delicious and filling, you guys. You seriously have to try it. And now the smoothie that I am prepping here is my toddler smoothie that I prep for my son every single day. The recipe does vary a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to be half of a banana, some organic frozen blueberries, organic frozen raspberries, half of a beet, the Love Beets brand, some frozen organic spinach or kale. I flip-flop between the two, and then some kind of nut butter. We do peanut butter and then we do almond butter, but for this specific day, I did almond butter. Added some water and then blended that up for my son, and it is super delicious. He loves it. He looks forward to it every single morning as his mid-morning snack. So be sure to give this smoothie a try, or if you want to try out any of the other recipes, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to know if any of these recipes were helpful for you. Okay, now I'm just going to be sharing how I prep my sweet potatoes and my cauliflower for my smoothies. For the sweet potato, I will peel them, I'll wash them, then peel them, then cut them up into these little coin shapes, and then I will steam them. And then I'll steam them for about 30 minutes until they're super soft and tender. And then for my cauliflower, I'll just cut it off of the stalk, cut it up into decently small pieces, and then like the sweet potato, I will steam the cauliflower until it's extremely soft and tender. Remember last year, messing around, we were so loud, and no try to kick us out, and I could never really lie to you, so I'm trying not to hide the truth, though I've been dreaming, I've been scheming. Last but not least, you are going to be adding your cooked sweet potato and cooked cauliflower to a freezer bag. Lay flat and kind of press until it's covering the entire contents of the bag flat, and then just add that to the freezer, let it freeze, and then you are ready to just break off chunks as needed for your smoothies. And that, you guys, is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope that some of these recipes were helpful for you. If you end up making any of these, please let me know down in the comments below, or tag me on Instagram. If you liked any part of this video or found it helpful, would you please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe if you want to follow along with more of my videos. That is all for today. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!